There's power in silence, especially in the silence of your own mind. What you dwell on in private is shaping the life you live in public. Too often we allow negative thoughts, worries, and fears to dominate the atmosphere inside of us. We replay what people said, we magnify what went wrong, and we let insecurity whisper that we're not enough. But can I tell you, the most important conversations you will ever have are not with other people, they are with yourself. When you silently guard your thoughts, when you choose not to entertain doubt, not to magnify fear, but instead fill your mind with hope, faith, and possibility, you are laying the foundation for a victorious life. What happens in your inner world shows up in your outer world. If you want peace, it begins with what you allow yourself to think about. If you want strength, it begins with what you silently rehearse in your mind. Every day you have the choice to either feed your faith or feed your fears. The silent habit of guarding your thoughts is not about pretending the challenges aren't real. It's about not giving them permission to control you. You may not be able to stop a negative thought from coming, but you don't have to invite it to stay. Replace it with gratitude, with prayer, with vision. When you learn to silently discipline your mind, you set yourself apart. You walk into opportunities with confidence, you face difficulties with peace, and you rise above the noise because you've already won the battle on the inside. The silent habit of guarding your thoughts is one of the most powerful disciplines you can ever develop, because the greatest battles you will ever fight will not be with other people. They will be with yourself in the privacy of your own mind. The mind is the soil where seeds of greatness are planted, but it is also the place where weeds of doubt, fear, and insecurity try to take root. Every day, thoughts are coming to you. Some are encouraging, some are discouraging, some will lift you higher, and others will pull you down. You cannot always stop the thoughts that arrive at your door, but you can choose which ones you allow to stay. When you learn to guard your thoughts, you build a silent habit that keeps you strong on the inside, even when the outside world is noisy and chaotic. What people often overlook is that the mind is not passive, it is creative. Whatever you dwell on in your private thoughts begins to shape your beliefs, your attitude, and ultimately your destiny. If you meditate on problems, you will magnify them. If you meditate on possibilities, you will attract them. You constantly tell yourself that you are not enough. Those words will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. But if you make it a habit to quietly affirm that you are capable, that you are favored, that you are destined for great things, then you are setting your life in a direction of victory. This is why it is so important to discipline your inner world, because sooner or later your inner conversations show up in your outer reality. Many people are defeated not because they lack talent, not because they lack opportunities, but because they never learn to silence the wrong voices in their own head. A thought comes whispering, you'll never make it. You don't have what it takes. Your best days are behind you. Too often, instead of rejecting it, people rehearse it. They replay it over and over until it feels true. The truth is, that thought was never meant to define them. It was a lie, and yet because it was entertained, it grew roots. Guarding your thoughts means you learn to identify those lies quickly and replace them with truth. You don't give negativity the luxury of a second invitation. When worry knocks, you refuse to open the door. When fear whispers, you counter it with faith. When doubt tries to settle in, you replace it with gratitude. This is not denial, this is discipline. You are not pretending the challenges don't exist, but you are choosing not to magnify them. You are choosing to protect your inner atmosphere so that peace and hope have room to grow. Think of it like this. If you owned a beautiful garden, you would not allow weeds to take over without pulling them up. You would not let trash pile up in the soil. You would guard that garden, water it, fertilize it, and keep it healthy so that flowers could bloom. In the same way, your mind is a garden. If you let negativity, bitterness, and worry grow unchecked, they will choke out the seeds of joy and faith. But when you develop the silent habit of pulling out every toxic thought, when you deliberately water your mind with positive words, with vision, with belief, you create a place where beautiful things can flourish. The condition of your mind will always determine the condition of your life. Guard your thoughts like you would guard a treasure, because in truth, they are shaping your destiny. One of the reasons this habit is so powerful is that nobody else can do it for you. People can encourage you. They can pray for you. They can speak life over you. But at the end of the day, you are the only one who decides what you allow yourself to dwell on in silence. No one else can police the conversations you have in your head. That is why guarding your thoughts is a silent habit. It happens privately. It happens when no one else sees it. And yet it determines how you walk, how you talk, and how you show up in the world. The private discipline of your thoughts is what gives you public confidence. When you learn to win the war in your mind, you will find that other battles become easier to overcome. This is also why gratitude is such a powerful weapon in guarding your thoughts. Gratitude shifts your focus. When you are tempted to dwell on what is wrong, gratitude reminds you of what is right. When fear says, "You don't have enough," gratitude says, "I have more than enough." When doubt says, "You can't handle this," gratitude says, "I have already come through so much, and I will come through this too." Gratitude is a silent conversation that reprograms your perspective. It turns your attention away from lack and puts it on abundance. It takes the power away from fear and hands it back to faith. If you want to strengthen the habit of guarding your thoughts, practice gratitude every single day, even in the smallest things. Another way to guard your thoughts is to be careful about what you expose yourself to. Just like your body is affected by what you eat, your mind is affected by what you feed it. If you constantly consume negativity, whether it is through people, media, or environments, you cannot expect your thoughts to be filled with hope and peace. If you surround yourself with critical voices, don't be surprised if your inner voice becomes critical too. Guarding your thoughts means being intentional about what you allow in. Protect your peace by choosing environments and influences that lift you up instead of tear you down. This doesn't mean you avoid every challenge or pretend the world is perfect. It means you are wise enough to limit the input that drags your spirit down. You have the power to curate your mental diet. Feed your mind with positivity, with learning, with encouragement, and your thoughts will naturally become healthier. You may not realize it, but this silent habit is also building resilience. Life will bring storms. Challenges will come that you cannot control. But when you have trained your mind to stay guarded, you will not be easily shaken. Instead of crumbling under pressure, you will remain steady because you already built strength on the inside. People may look at you and wonder how you can stay calm in the middle of the storm, but what they do not see is the silent habit you have been practicing all along. They don't see the times you replaced worry with peace, the times you replaced fear with faith, the times you refused to entertain defeat in your mind. They only see the fruit of that inner discipline. That's the power of guarding your thoughts. It equips you to stand tall when others bend under the weight of life. Guarding your thoughts is not about perfection, it is about precision. You will still have moments where negative thoughts come, where worry tries to creep in, where discouragement shows up uninvited. But the difference is, you don't let those moments define you. You don't let them stay. You dismiss them quickly and return to peace. Over time, this becomes second nature. It becomes automatic. Just like a trained guard does not hesitate to keep out an intruder, you will not hesitate to keep out anything that threatens your peace. It becomes a reflex, a lifestyle, a silent habit that empowers you daily. The truth is, your life will always move in the direction of your dominant thoughts. If you want to change your life, start by changing your thoughts. If you want victory, think victory. Think feats. If you want growth, think growth. Don't let your mind be a playground for doubt and fear. It's a sanctuary of faith and hope. Guard it diligently, nurture it with positivity, and trust that what you build in silence will speak loudly through the life you live. When you understand the power of this silent habit, you no longer take your thoughts lightly. You recognize that every thought is either building you up or tearing you down. Every thought is either moving you closer to victory or pulling you toward defeat, so choose wisely. Guard your mind as if your destiny depends on it, because it does. And when you make guarding your thoughts a daily practice, you will find that peace becomes your default, faith becomes your language, and victory becomes your mindset. The silent habit of working in the shadows is one of the most overlooked but life-changing disciplines a person can develop, because the truth is, the work you do in private is what prepares you for the opportunities you receive in public. Too often, people want recognition before they have put in the preparation. They want to be celebrated before they have been consistent. They want the spotlight without embracing the shadow. But real strength, real growth, and real success are built in the unseen places. In those moments where nobody claps for you, nobody notices your effort, and nobody praises your consistency. When you keep showing up, when you stay faithful in the quiet, when you refuse to quit even when it feels like no one cares, you are building a silent habit that will set you apart and position you for lasting success. It is easy to be motivated when others are watching, when people are cheering you on, when recognition is at the end of your effort. But the true test of character is what you do when no one is looking. Do you still give your best when there is no applause? Do you still keep your word to yourself when there is no reward attached? Do you still practice excellence in the small things that seem insignificant? Working in the shadows means you understand that your private discipline is the foundation of your public success. You know that every seed planted in secret will one day produce fruit in the open. This silent habit is about faithfulness. It is about doing the right thing because it is right, not because it will earn you attention. There is a great temptation in life to chase validation. People want their progress noticed, their sacrifices acknowledged, their effort rewarded. And when it feels like that recognition is not coming, discouragement whispers, "What's the point? Why keep working if nobody cares?" But here is the truth. Nothing you do in private is wasted. Every time you discipline yourself when no one is watching, you are strengthening your character. Every time you sacrifice in silence, you are investing in your future. Every time you resist the temptation to quit, you are building resilience that will carry you into greater opportunities. Working in the shadows is not wasted time, it is preparation time. And preparation is what separates those who dream about success from those who actually achieve it. Think about an athlete. The championship is not won on the day of the game. It is won in the months and years of training, in the hours spent in the gym, in the discipline of practice when no fans are watching. By the time the spotlight shines, the work has already been done in the shadows. The same is true in every area of life. The business leader who seems to have overnight success spent years building quietly when no one knew their name. The musician who fills arenas spent countless nights practicing when no one applauded. The person who walks in confidence during challenges spent private hours strengthening their inner world. The shadows are not a punishment, they are a gift. They are the training ground where greatness is forged. Another reason this silent habit is so powerful is that it protects you from pride and keeps you grounded. When you learn to work in the shadows, you develop humility. You are not doing it for recognition, but for growth. You are not motivated by applause, but by purpose. This keeps your heart pure and your motive strong. Recognition may come later, but even if it doesn't, you are still fulfilled because you know you are building something meaningful. When you learn to love the shadows, you no longer depend on the opinions of others to validate your effort. You find satisfaction in knowing you are being faithful with what is in your hand. And when you are faithful in little, greater opportunities will always come.